Suddenly, the world's most powerful economic system faces an unprecedented challenge. Banks close their doors, the stock market experiences severe volatility, and confidence in the once dominant currency begins to waver. What would it be like to encounter a significant economic downturn in the U.S.? We'll explore how such an event could affect the lives of millions, disrupt government structures, and have far-reaching consequences across the globe. An economic downturn in the United States could be triggered by a combination of significant events. One potential cause might be a global financial crisis, similar to that of 2008, but with broader implications. Imagine a scenario where major financial institutions struggle simultaneously due to unmanageable debts or underperforming assets. This could lead to a series of financial challenges, resulting in a loss of confidence in global financial markets. As banks face difficulties and the stock market declines, investors might withdraw their funds, further complicating the situation. Another potential cause could be a large-scale cyber attack on the U.S. banking system. If the security of transactions were compromised and sensitive financial data were accessed, public trust in the financial system could be significantly undermined. In such a scenario, people might rush to withdraw their money from banks, only to encounter difficulties accessing their accounts. The paralysis of the banking system could spread to other sectors, creating substantial challenges for the economy. Additionally, a natural disaster of significant proportions could also lead to an economic downturn. A major earthquake, severe hurricane, or volcanic eruption hitting economically vital regions like New York or California could disrupt critical infrastructure. If transportation, energy, and telecommunications were severely impacted, both local and national economies could face significant setbacks. Recovery might be slow, particularly if the government's response were delayed or ineffective. Finally, a combination of these factors, financial crisis, cyber attack, and natural disaster, could create a perfect storm. In a matter of days, the U.S. economy could face severe challenges, with wide-reaching consequences for the American population and the global economy. If the U.S. economy were to face a significant downturn overnight, the impact on daily life would be substantial. The population's initial reaction might be concern or even panic. With news that banks had closed temporarily and the value of the dollar had declined, people might rush to markets, pharmacies, and gas stations in an attempt to secure essential supplies. However, this rush could quickly lead to shortages of key goods like food, medicine, and fuel. The loss of access to money would be another critical issue. With banks closed and ATMs out of service, people would have limited options for accessing their savings. Credit and debit cards could become less reliable as the electronic payment system faces challenges alongside the banking system. This could lead many to resort to bartering or using alternative currencies, creating economic uncertainty where the value of goods and services becomes unpredictable. Moreover, disruptions to essential services could become inevitable. Without access to financing and with infrastructure under strain, utility companies, such as those providing electricity and water, might struggle to maintain operations. The lack of fuel could impact public transportation and the supply chain, exacerbating the situation. Cities might face power outages, and the distribution of potable water could be compromised. Finally, a rise in crime could be a possible consequence. With the economy in decline, unemployment might rise, and some individuals could turn to crime out of desperation. Looting, robberies, and other acts of violence might increase, particularly in densely populated urban areas. Overburdened and under-resourced, police forces might struggle to maintain order, and American society could face a period of heightened tension. In response to a sudden economic downturn, the U.S. government's actions would be crucial in stabilizing the situation. Immediately following the downturn, the government might declare a state of emergency and implement a series of measures to contain public concern and restore order. Among the first actions could be the temporary suspension of operations in financial markets to prevent a spiraling sell-off and the imposition of capital controls to prevent capital flight. Additionally, the government might work with the Federal Reserve to implement intervention policies. These could include injecting liquidity into the banking system, purchasing financial assets, and reducing interest rates to historically low levels. However, with confidence in the dollar potentially weakened, these measures might have limited effectiveness, leading the government to explore alternative financial strategies. The international response would also play a crucial role in the U.S. economic recovery. Institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank could offer support, but the scale of the downturn would require unprecedented coordination among the world's largest economies. Allied countries, such as the European Union and Japan, might provide economic and logistical support, though their ability to assist could be constrained by the global impact of a U.S. downturn. On the geopolitical stage, other global powers might seek to capitalize on the situation, potentially using it as an opportunity to expand their influence while the U.S. works to regain stability. Additionally, if the dollar's status as the global reserve currency were to be challenged, it could accelerate changes in international economic dynamics, with some nations exploring alternatives to the U.S. financial system. Global tensions could rise, leading to a period of transition in the world order. The consequences of an economic downturn in the United States would extend far beyond the immediate impact, with long-lasting effects on both the nation and the world. One of the most significant repercussions could be the loss of the dollar's status as the primary global reserve currency. If confidence in the dollar were to be significantly weakened, countries around the world might seek alternatives such as the euro, the Chinese yuan, or even cryptocurrencies to diversify their international reserves. This shift could have a profound impact on global finance, altering the balance of economic power and reducing the U.S.'s influence on the international stage. Domestically, the United States could face a prolonged and challenging economic recovery. Inflation might become a significant issue, with the cost of essential goods rising while wages struggle to keep pace. The middle class, which is a key pillar of the American economy, could face substantial challenges, leading to increased income disparity. Poverty could become more widespread, with millions of Americans at risk of losing their homes, jobs, and savings. Unemployment rates could remain elevated for an extended period, putting pressure on the social welfare system. Furthermore, the economic downturn could lead to notable political changes in the U.S. Confidence in the government and public institutions might be tested, creating an environment where populist or extremist movements could gain traction. The political system could become increasingly polarized, with debates about the future of American democracy intensifying. In a more extreme scenario, there could be discussions about greater autonomy for states or regions. Globally, the consequences could be severe. The world economy, heavily reliant on U.S. stability, might enter a recession. International trade could decrease, and global supply chains might be disrupted. Developing countries that depend on exports to the U.S. could face economic challenges, leading to potential humanitarian crises. International cooperation could become more difficult, and geopolitical tensions could rise, leading to a more fragmented and uncertain world. Despite the daunting challenges posed by such an economic downturn, there are several strategies and measures that could pave the way for recovery and strengthen resilience against future crises. Government intervention and economic stimulus. The U.S. government could implement comprehensive economic stimulus packages aimed at revitalizing key industries, supporting small businesses, and creating job opportunities. Measures such as infrastructure investments, tax reliefs, and direct financial assistance to citizens could help stimulate economic activity and restore public confidence. Additionally, reinforcing regulations in the financial sector could prevent the recurrence of practices that contribute to economic instability. International cooperation and support. collaborative efforts with international organizations and allied nations would be crucial in addressing the global ramifications of the downturn. Coordinated policies on trade, monetary support from institutions like the International Monetary Fund, and shared strategies for market stabilization could facilitate a more balanced and swift global recovery. Such cooperation would also help in restructuring and strengthening international financial systems to better withstand future shocks. Innovation and diversification, investing in emerging technologies and diversifying the economy could serve as long-term solutions to rebuild and fortify economic structures. Promoting sectors such as renewable energy, biotechnology, and digital infrastructure not only creates new employment opportunities but also reduces dependence on traditional industries that may be more vulnerable to economic fluctuations. Encouraging entrepreneurship and supporting research and development initiatives could foster innovation and drive sustainable growth. Strengthening social safety nets, enhancing social welfare programs would be essential to support individuals and communities most affected by the crisis. Expanding access to healthcare, education, and unemployment benefits can mitigate the immediate impacts on quality of life and provide a foundation for individuals to recover and contribute positively to the economy. Focused efforts on reducing income inequality and addressing poverty can lead to a more equitable and resilient society. Community engagement and local initiatives, grassroots movements and local community initiatives can play a significant role in recovery efforts. Community-based programs focused on mutual aid, local trade, and sustainable practices can alleviate some pressures caused by the economic downturn. Empowering local governments and organizations to address specific regional challenges ensures that recovery strategies are tailored and effective across diverse populations. By implementing a combination of these strategies, the United States and the global community can navigate through the complexities of an economic crisis, emerging stronger and more resilient. Proactive planning and adaptive policies are key to not only recovering from such downturns but also preventing them in the future. In the face of a challenging scenario like a significant economic downturn in the U.S., it's essential to reflect on the resilience of our financial and social structures. While such an event is unlikely to happen suddenly, the accumulation of poor government decisions or external shocks could bring this scenario closer to reality. This reminds us of the importance of being prepared for unexpected challenges and of strengthening the institutions that support our economy. What would happen to you and your family in a crisis like this? Leave your comments below and share your thoughts on how we can better prepare for the future. And if you haven't watched our video on what would happen if all the gold in the world disappeared, don't miss the chance to check it out on the end screen.